and then getting my gratification from a bottle, until I finally asked myself that what is the difference between a relationship, a man, or a bottle? You're using both to numb the pain. So do away with the crutches and learn to deal with yourself, and realize that you're not as special as you would like to believe that you are. Deal with the anguish, deal with the emptiness, deal with the ordinariness of your soul, and from that, something magical will emerge, and something did. So I think the day I told myself that, okay, um, life is not a dress rehearsal. I'm not going to kind of end up being somebody who's going to use somebody else as a convenience and, a habit. I'm going to try life on my own. I might never meet that person. I might meet this person, and I met this person. And I kicked the bottle hard. It's been 7 years that I've been sober. I think it's my greatest achievement. I think my work is my hobby, and my real work is my sobriety. And yeah, so I was chained to that. But like I said, the bolt was on the inside. I had locked myself into that room. All I had to do was unlock and walk out. Nobody kept me in there.
Wow, that was really honest. Thank you, Pooja.
And Pooja, real
I want
phoenix.
to add is that I think that more than most is that the stigma and shame attached to alcoholism and addiction for women, because we don't drink openly. Most people. So I drank openly. I drank openly and copiously, and like I live. So I think, why should I recover silently? Why should I? There should be anything anonymous about my recovery. So I use every opportunity to speak about the fact that I was an alcoholic. I am one. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and that there's no shame. It's not a moral failing. And I think the more we kind of come out of the shadows, we end the stigma, and then there is great hope at the other end. Because the bottle delivers, the men don't. Which is why we can drink most men under the table, you know. And the thing is that you have to acknowledge that, and only then can something come from it.
Too good,
And
Sharika.
I just see Pooja as a real inspiration, the real phoenix, because the way she is, when she took those tough, strong decisions, and has, you all know now, all the work that she's doing, it's in front of you, incredible work that she's doing, as if you never had a break.
The universe gives you things when you're ready for them. I believe that. I was
Absolutely.
not ready for it at that point. So it just when the minute I kicked the habits, then the world said, "Okay, now you're ready, and now come on, here you go. Yeah, now get to the real world."
Yeah.
Sharika, what about you? When did you feel that you've been chained in any situation, and how did you overcome it emotionally?
Actually, you know what? I was gonna say the same thing she said about the prison. I was gonna, instead of a cage, I was gonna say it's like a prison. That, my thing was more like codependency was a problem with me, people pleasing, because my parents had been so busy when I was small. Wasn't given much time. All that, my grandmother was raising me. She was very religious, extremely religious. I was sharing a room with her, so puja part was going on morning to night. And the whole idea of marriage and children and all that. And I did all that. But I, exactly like what Pooja is saying, completely lost myself. In fact, I was writing this book, and this book took me 8 years to write, because I was grabbing 1 hour here, 2 hours there, children, this, that, and completely lost myself. I mean, I didn't even know who I was by
I
the
have
end of
seen
it. I
that.
mean,
I've
I'd
seen
gone
that.
through a divorce myself by the end of it. So now it's like a journey. That's why I dedicated this book to all women who are on the journey of self discovery, because that's the journey I'm on.
Great, Priyanka.
Well, I think Pooja and Sharika both have shared their experiences, and I must say, Pooja, it's very inspirational when you come openly and you talk about an issue you're facing. For example, when you said you understand the do's and don'ts because we live by those social barriers that have been created for, especially for women in politics. Do not drink, do not laugh loudly, do not speak too much, do not speak to your male colleagues, do not laugh loudly with your male colleagues, do not be seen with them after parliamentary hours. I've smashed all of those. Simply because I can't live a life of hypocrisy. It's just not in me. With regards to feeling chained, there have been moments, and there have been plenty of moments where I feel, would I feel better if I get out of this? In some situations, I kind of understood, no, this is where it is. I could be unhappy, I could work things around me. But in terms of feeling chained, was that one moment when one fine day, decided I wanted to quit the Congress party. The entire country, and I'm not exaggerating here, everyone had an opinion of me. Selfish, self centered, wanting to do much better, feeling chained because of the party. But it was a question about who I was, and a question that how, as a parent, I'm teaching some values to my children. Would I want my son to behave badly with women and say it's absolutely all right because my mother's tolerated it, everyone should tolerate it in politics? Or should I tell my daughter that even if someone misbehaves with you, you have to just grin and bear it because that's how the world is? And I took that decision that yes, maybe whatever comes my way, I'll live through that. But I was feeling very chained with that decision, that should I continue being silent in my party because party is doing, party is giving me good opportunities, party has been good to me. Should I break that down, or should I live by my own principles, which is you can't take situations, where you're being undermined, where you're being mistreated, you're being abused in a way. Should I take that lying down? So I chose the latter. I broke out of that chain and I decided that I wanted to live my life my way, do my politics my way, do it the way I think is the right way of walking ahead in politics. I come from a non-political background, so yes, it was a tough journey, but I think I have not chained myself to any expectations that the world may have of me, but what expectations I have of the world and my duties towards the world.
Wow, that's inspiring. That's really
And I
inspiring.
wanted to add that not only being an example to your own children, but you're being an example to many other children and young adults, many others. It's
And it
always
is
by example people learn.
it is emotionally also very like charged up to take such a big decision. So I can. So Pooja, you have lived life on your terms always. In fact, you've been ahead of your times even before, as we all know that. In retrospect, do you feel that if you would have done things a bit differently and not followed your heart 100%, would it be a little better?
No, before she speaks, I want to say one thing.
Sure.
I'm so glad that she did what she did, because when we were growing up, we used to look at her as like that icon who just doesn't give a damn about the world and she's doing her things her way. And I think in some way, you inspired women like us to do what we want to do in our own way, right? Walk our own path in the way we want it, not what the world demands you to do. So I think, glad you did it, Pooja.
But I know you will be honest, very honest. That you really feel that following your heart 100%?
Well, I mean, frankly, I don't know any other way of being. So I can't, like people say, when people tell me, oh, that was such a courageous thing to do, you spoke about this. So I said, I can't take credit for that. It is my nature. I can't, when I speak up for a woman, I speak up for myself. When I speak up for a cause, I speak up for myself. I'm no saint here. But I think that, it's something that I've inherited from my father, and it's something that, thank God, my sister Alia has not, because that's the reason she's so successful. Because she knows exactly what to share and what not to share, what to put out there and what to not put out there. But I think that I've learned that it's only when you're authentic and you are speaking from your heart does it get communicated. Now, when I look back at my life, I'm 51 now. I mean, I'm enjoying what they call the fourth season of fame. In our business, they say that, there are four seasons of any artist. First, they say, oh, she has potential, or he has potential. Then they say, oh, she's arrived. Then they say she's over, and then they say she's back. So I'd given up acting for 21 years, and I came back with a show called Bombay Begums again, where Alankrita Srivastav and Bornila Chatterjee wanted to cast me because of the life I'd led. They were like, you've been away from the front of the camera for the last 21 years, and it's what you stand for and what resonates in your heart is that's what we want to cast. So I think there's no alternate for a lived life, especially for an artist. An artist cannot be a prisoner, not to themselves, not to a reputation. I think that with enough courage you can do without a reputation. And we have that liberty as artists, and we should take that more. So I just feel that the world has been quite fair. The media has been quite fair. The ones who somewhere in their hearts do understand, but their agenda is not to, you can't change their mind no matter what you do. But I think what's always moved me is when I've traveled through India and I've met women from diverse backgrounds who might not have remembered the films I've done, but they've remembered an interview of mine, or what I've said, or when I've spoken up for something that the rest of my industry or my brethren did not at that point, because I guess they had more to lose than I did. You know, I think that resonates and it reaches people, because eventually what you are gets communicated, not what you say you are. You know, and I think that it's too tiring to play this game of, you know, trying to pretend to be somebody that I'm not, and then, you know, try to get you to like me for what I'm not, and then I go home and that burden, I can't be bothered. So I'm a great actor when the camera rolls, but I'm no good when it's off. You know,
So,
and
so
I had the
Raw,
greatest feminist who I grew up with. Besides
yes.
my mother, I grew up with the greatest feminist of them all, called Mahesh Bhatt. I mean, he's the greatest feminist of them all. So he and who wanted to crash land our party, by the way. So I told him you can't. But I think that for me it's very humbling to be here, and I think that the fact that you listen, and the fact that something resonated and you noticed then, and I love her because she's a completely inappropriate woman. That's why I'm here. But I think that should I have done things better, probably toed the line, walked the line, might have gotten me a hit film here or maybe two more jobs there, but it would not have done anything for my soul. It would not have added to my growth. So I think my belittling failures, my times of isolation, the times that the world has turned its back on me, supposedly, that is where I found my wealth. That is where I found my core. And I would not trade that for anything in the world.
Wow. So raw and real.
Yeah, I mean, I've realized that growth and comfort do not go together. So, you know, I'm good with discomfort. I do not shirk pain. I do not say why me anymore. There was a time I would say, why me? Now I'm like, there's a reason it's me. You know,